Lesson 12. How has regeneration in East London improved the social, economic and environmental conditions? Urban regeneration has become a trend that is continuously being experienced in London, specifically in East London, because this urban regeneration, otherwise known as urban regrowth, is more about rebuilding some of the built-up areas of London for the good of everyone living there. Urbanisation has its downsides, and because of the level of importance that is put on London, when something fails and goes wrong within the city, then it is sure to feel the disastrous effects on it in a very obvious manner. If London has problems, they have a greater impact, as London is the nerve centre of the nation. This is why, because of exponential growth that London is experiencing, it has to carefully manage this growth, because if it is not managed, it would make things more complex and complicated and may possibly decrease the quality of life people experience in London. Thankfully, urban regeneration is a process which manages the economic and societal issues through building new and improved infrastructures that contribute to the improvement of life due to the improvement of the economy, wherein there will be more vacant jobs or work opportunities for the people to have a source of income, therefore improving their financial status and, of course, their standard of living. Also, the social fabric of London is tightly knit due to the saturation that it experiences because of the constantly rising number of people that it has, mainly due to immigrants who settle in London. With this growth comes the likelihood that more and more people will be left jobless because there isn't enough work to go around. This is what urban regeneration speaks of, the giving out opportunities to people for them to have a higher standard of living. The environment is also one of the leading causes of why this happens, because with urbanisation, the environmental variables are sacrificed because they need to make way for urban development and progress to push through. Urban Development Corporation and Enterprise Zones. The Urban Development Corporation, UDC, and the Enterprise Zones, EZ, were two of the leading and major urban regeneration programs that have been enacted throughout London, specifically in East London. These have improved the condition of London in three aspects. Number one, economic conditions. These programs were the two leading programs that have greatly helped the City of London. They were established during the 1980s. This was the year that it became apparent that London was struggling to cope with the increasing number of immigrants from all corners of the world with regard to housing, employment and services. As a result, London, specifically East London, was in a kind of turmoil. Thankfully, these two programs were established to focus on regenerating the inner city areas by constructing new commercial and residential properties on old industrial land, abandoned or sometimes polluted areas, which are often referred to as brownfield sites. The aim was to use these sites and restore them to being of use, and not just wasted or underused areas of land. Though this urban regeneration involves heavy expenditure, the results of it are overwhelming, because this then resulted in more and more investors going to London because of these improvements that were felt throughout the city. The construction of these new sites much improved the reputation of London during these times. London previously was more likely considered a tourist destination because of the grandeur of its monarchy. But because of these urban regeneration projects and some of the unique architecture created, London then became much more than that. Environmental conditions. East London experienced deindustrialisation as a result of failing to compete with the newer and more technologically advanced ports, such as Tilbury and Felixstowe during the 1970s. This then had left it out of focus, and the old dock areas eventually became full of derelict buildings and wasteland, and it eventually served as a dumping site of London, due to the fact that it is in the inner part of the city. This had then caused various problems, including health problems to the people in East London, such as having the highest cases of mental health problems in the UK. Thankfully, with urban regeneration, East London has become a more pleasant area and also a more useful area, which has since experienced a rising population. This means that there are more and more investors that continue to see London as a potential working location. This will then mean that efforts will be made to help the environment to be safe and clean for all, because if this does not happen, people will more likely to find somewhere else to locate their businesses. Social conditions. East London had been suffering from high levels of unemployment because of industrialisation that happened in the 1970s in the Docklands. This had left many people to live on the minimum wage or on benefits. This level of income, particularly in London, means that they were living on the line of survival and that their standard of living is just only enough to survive. As a result of urban regeneration creating more jobs, many of these people will now have a better income and they will certainly be happier with the environment they now live in. In conclusion, these regeneration projects endeavour to make London a better place to live in. They do not focus on only one issue, but instead acknowledge all the social, economic and environmental problems, and in the processes have continuously strived to solve these problems and find solutions for each of them. This shows that the United Kingdom, specifically London in this case, is using the government's money for the good of all and is making efficient, effective and productive use of it. Thankfully, the people are responding well to this, and if this trend would continue for the next half century, then there is no reason why London would then be held as perhaps the best city in the world that you can live in.